Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your board. Yeah, P Funk out here in the lab doing what I do for you. Oh, I'm down. I got a nice little lesson for you today, picking up on the one I just gave you, but it's a continuation. I figure rather than stretch them out and keep you in, I'm gonna try to shorten them up and get your attention, hit you with something right quick, and let you go on, then come back and get some more. So I'm gonna shorten them up for you. Hopefully that works. Let's go. Today, write the 25 rules of that by storytelling, story with a message. Message in the story, a little shorter this time for life. I give life lessons. You tuning and receiving them. I appreciate you. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinkers way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you, to your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is to get you to do just that. Your goal is to do just that. So we vibrate on the same frequency, hopefully. Let's go. I asked the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical. But if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. That's what I do for you. I can help you know you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know that is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows but knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I'm a spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself. And to my out, be true. Today, right thinkers, we done talked about controlling the mind. We done talked about head who. Now let's talk about, oh, sorry about that, I lost my place. The story of how Ra sent the I, aka conscious, into creation. Good story. A little quick, it ain't too long, so it should be good and informative. That's the point. I want to get a point across, and this story takes care of that point I'm trying to make. Let's go. Through the story of the eye. I ain't got mine on today, but that's why I use the word. It's the eye is very important. Mystical teaching. Why? Because it's a point that you can make. It are being conveyed. The story is going to be conveyed. Hope you can get it. The eye, we call it Ujat, spelled Udjat, is a symbol of intuitional vision. Intuitional knowledge comes from Haset. You have to master that quality of you to help get your Uja open. Also, it represents what? The desire of who? Listen, the desire of the divine to go into itself, aka creation or man. You get the concept? And the subsequent forgetfulness that ensues. This is why the ancients left us the philosophical phrase, man, know thyself. It means you need to understand the story, learn the story, understand so you know who you are. Don't let somebody tell you otherwise, because that's what they've been doing ever since they came in and infiltrated us. They've been telling us something other than what we know for the longest. I'm just trying to tell you what's ours. That's why I teach ours. Not black history, our history. And I don't do his story. Why? I know his story. Don't appreciate it. Won't teach it. Care less about it. Why? It's fictitious. Moving on. Now, the resistance of the I to return to who? The divine abode. That's us as human beings forgetting how to get back where we come from conceptually. So watch this. Now, the resistance of returning the eye to the divine abode, is a symbol of what? Of the predicament of us ordinary people who what? Who are through, listen, ignorance of self and intense physical sexual desires will detest the idea of even considering what? the spiritual values of life. Why? Because their hearts and minds are consumed with passions of the flesh. The ego is in control. Once the ego takes over, that's who you identify with. That's who you're going to pay homage and think is it. Not so fast, my friend. As we closer, we'll take it. No, I'm trying to get you to understand that the first person is the ego self. That's the lower level. That's what we try to get you to understand. All right. Excuse me. So now they say they, who are they, are consumed with all this ignorant people. That's who they are this time. I just did a lesson about who are those and they. I can tell you who they are. They are you. If you're ignorant of who you are, you become they. They are what? Consumed with the desires, the pleasures of what? To experience the pleasures of what? The material existence, meaning in this physical world. Loved it. Loved it. But guess what? That's going to bring on return trip unless you stop the cycle. Break the nonsense. Ra did what? Sent the eye of what? Consciousness. This is what every human being got up here. He gifted it to you. Everything else is the same. The only difference in all of us is that thing we call consciousness. It's the difference for everybody. Why? Because up to you to figure out how to use it. We got the most sophisticated machinery known to man. Always did, always will. But no, they're trying to change another lesson. But the idea is that what we got between our ears, that thing up in our head, it don't come with instructions. You got to figure it out, so to speak. So that's why they got sages and gurus and mystics, pastors, everybody who's trying to teach you to understand who you are. That's my job at this point, to do the same thing. Now, when Ra sent out the eye of consciousness went into creation, that's man. Consciousness, what happened? What's this? Consciousness then, you ready? Became lost or fell in love. The idea with Asar and Nephthys, that's the spirit falling in love with nature. That's the story. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. These all tie in. He's saying this, they saying that. No, they all have an intricate little concept that ties all together. And if you really understood, you can see that. That's how I can do that. Let's go. So the consciousness came into the world, creation, and symbolizing the soul of human, which is the star, the first one, being what? In all life forms. Forgetting their true nature. Again, when you fall into physical form, I'll be right 1 second. Yeah, sorry about that. But remember, when God put himself in creation, I tell a story, God made everything perfect. When he seen everything good, what's missing? Me. So he injected himself into his creation. That's what it's all about. Now we're talking about the I. The consciousness represented by the I. What happened? The I got lost in what? Creation. And is the human soul, watch the again, I tell you a story about Asar and Nephthys. Nephthys represent mortality. The spirit fell in love with the earth, mortality, nature. And they had it in the course, and their son become the discernment, Anubis. Watch this. The soul, which is caught up what? In the cycle of what? Birth and death, aka resurrection. And why is that? Now, why it caught up in the birth cycle? We're just gonna tell you why. It's caught up in that resurrection, the birth cycle, due to forgetfulness, aka amnesia, memory loss, not knowing thyself, ignorant of who you are, and distractions, aka again, ignorance of your true nature. We are born ignorant. Trust me, we come in the world ignorant, blank slate. After a certain point in time, wherever your environment is, you're going to be raised for the first 7 years. That's going to set the tone. And if you keep working on that program that somebody gave to you and not realize your own stuff, you're going to end up in the war cycle, right? Over and over. That's the concept. So watch this. Now, the supreme being at this point, Ra, sent out his messenger of wisdom, which is represented by Tahuti, your memory, the thought process, he's the brain, in the form of Metunetta, which is the writings, descriptions on the pyramid walls, the handwritings on the wall. He is responsible for the handwriting, Tahuti, the god of instruction. And the ancient Egyptian scriptures of what? Wisdom. They said it, the word Metunetta means the writing of God or God's writings. Okay? And the Sabai, SBAI, which is a spiritual preceptor or a guru. I'm a sage, guru, in practice, but that's what we do. We give enlightenment. We help you shine, but from the inside with what? Knowledge of self. That's how it's done. Watch this. So, a Sabai, which is a spiritual preceptor, to what? Instruct the eye of all mankind in the reference to its true nature. You knowing yourself is your true nature. Me giving you instruction to do just that. I'm fulfilling a concept that I read and learned about, but I'm doing it. Why? That's the purpose. I know what I'm doing. Why? I've been doing it for a while. And having, watch this, to having every individual what? Remember what? Who was, who it was in reality, knowing thyself, and the I then will be able to what? Return to its rightful place, back to its maker, body to earth, spirit to heaven. Consciousness is recognized by the spirit. Okay, I got one more paragraph I want to get in, and this is titled Het Haru as a metaphor. Again, Het Haru represents the predicament again of human life, us, from a state of what? Unity with the divine Ra, she becomes degraded, again, loss of memory to the point of what? Forgetting her true identity. She engages in what? Violent, unrighteous acts, and what? Lives out by her what? Lower nature and base desires, physical world. She fall in love with this world. Okay. This is known as what? The state of dullness of mind or unmaya. The more a person separates from what? Their essential nature, which is your higher self, the more that person slides where? Downward into what? You ready? Egoism. Again, anything down here is ego. Anything of the flesh is ego. And your lower aspects of the mind, which include what? Vices, such as what? You ready? Anger, hatred, greed, lust, jealousy, envy, all the negative things, etc. Oftentimes, these feelings, watch this, are so strong in the individual that they cloud what? Your intellect and render you a person that's incapable of higher form of thought or feeling. We know people who just bad, they just end up. Some people are built that way because of ignorance of their higher self. They don't know no better. Like your ego, it ain't bad. It just don't know no better. You got to corral it, control it, and put him in a service position. Don't let him run you. In this aspect, as the eye of Ra, Het Hadu, watch this, is the highest power. Mhm. She is the object of awe and admiration for all. But when her mind is degraded, lack of knowledge, she becomes ignorant. Watch this. The same awesome power becomes what? The object of tremendous fear because it is what? Uncontrolled and destructive. Hence self-destruction. Okay? Once again, I'm about to wrap it up. A human being have what? The power to what? Act with great goodness. Watch this. This is Maya. Or extreme evil intent. Your choice. Good intent. Difference. If a person acts out of Maya, I'm trying to tell you what you're doing. You're virtuous. You're such as you have compassion, empathy. You practice nonviolence. You live by the truth, and you understand universal love. You are in harmony with your heart, mind coherence, and you're sharing in what you have, etc. Sounds like me? Yeah, that's me. Right in a nutshell. That's what I do. That's what I follow. This is where I got it from. And watch this. What happens? And then your capacity for what? Goodness becomes what? Boundless. However, there we go. It's always going to be a however in life. That's the balance, right? Whatever got on this side, however, it's going to be on the other side. If a person acts out of his or her vice listed above, those sectarian qualities, egoistic concepts, what happened? Then their capacity for negativity is immense, even to the extent of what? Self-destruction. You're headed for self-destruction. If you got a man with a hatchet to his head, that ain't who you want to be. Just that simple. And that's your ego. That's it. They can dress him up and present him to you any way you want. But the bottom line, the hieroglyphic for him is a man with a hatchet to his head. Moving on. I'm about to wrap it up. Again, I appreciate you tuning in. I'm trying to get this lesson in quick. Now, when negativity becomes so intense in the mind, person's memory, in the mind, the power of thinking is not the only aspect that becomes impaired. Why? A person's memory, identity becomes impaired as well. Instead of seeing herself or himself, or seeing herself this time as the beautiful goddess of light and the enforcer of truth and justice, Het Haru saw herself as what? This vicious wildcat of death. Instead of self-destruction, she was bent on total destruction. Okay, she ain't gonna destroy herself, but she's gonna destroy everything else. Okay. Now, in the same manner, people, again, this is the metaphor, have what? Forgotten their true identity as God and goddesses. I love it. And have what? Come to regard themselves as miserable what? Human beings. I'm just a human being. No, your spiritual beings having a human experience. That's what you need to wake up to, and that's our problem. Moving on. Miserable human beings, what? Being caught in the struggle of life for survival. That's not the way to live. In competition with other who? Human beings, and with what? Nature itself. The Western civilization don't live in acquiesce to nature. We want to defeat nature. We want to fight. And I'm telling you from experience, Father Time, Mother Nature, both undefeated. So stop that nonsense. It's futile. Let me wrap this up with this last bit right here. Tahuti takes on the task of saving Het Haru from what? The pit of negativity and ignorance into which what? She had fallen. Again, fallen man, fallen woman. When you go the wrong way, you fall. Simple as that. So Tahuti is a symbol of what? A spiritual perceptor. Represents what? The intellect. You ready for this? Right thinking and truth. That's the end of my lesson. I love to read that part. I like the fact that they even got right thinking in their lessons. I like that. I'll be back. Oh, I got more for you. I just want to shorten them up. Keep your attention. I know that. So, hope you enjoyed the lesson. I'll be back.